Welcome to Weight Loss Forensics, where we use FBI tactics to investigate cravings, overeating, and why diets suck. Because you've probably asked yourself, how is it that I'm doing everything right? I'm counting the calories, I'm counting the points, I'm counting the macros, I'm eating those sad little salads for lunch, but the weight isn't budging. And then you've got that voice in your head. It may have whispered, "What is wrong with me?" Or maybe you're thinking, maybe it's just my genetics, or maybe I just have a slow metabolism. Maybe I just don't have any willpower. Maybe I'm just stuck being overweight. And you're probably wondering if losing weight is even possible at this point. I'm your host, Holly Bertone. I'm a former FBI Chief of Staff for Counterintelligence, now known as the Emotional Eating Profiler and Coach. And what I learned about spotting threats at the FBI is exactly what I teach you how to do in your kitchen, in the break room at work, even in your car at a red light when those cravings hit. I use weight loss forensics to get to the bottom of that mindless snacking, the food noise, and the emotional eating. Here's the thing. I'm not just a weight loss coach. I've lived it. I've juggled 20 years in project management consulting and federal government service. I've battled breast cancer. I've healed myself from an autoimmune disease, gone through a divorce. I'm an empty nester. I've lost my mom. And the through line of all of this was that for over 40 years, I was an emotional eater. I was a stress eater. I turned to food, to comfort food, to take the edge off. And if you're anything like I was, you've also told yourself, you know what? I'm just going to get back on track tomorrow. And that loop becomes a prison. I know what it's like to just feel completely out of control around food. But the worst part was when I turned 49 and I felt like the weight just piled on overnight. It was not budging, despite being a health coach, despite doing everything right. And it wasn't just frustrating, that shame, that embarrassment, it made me want to hide. So if your scale feels like your worst critic and you avoid looking in the mirror and you hate getting your picture taken, I've been there. This is the space where we're going to figure it out together. And what I found is that diets don't work. You know what? Let's keep it real. Diets just downright suck, and they can kiss my grits. I realized it was time I needed to get rebellious. What I did is I threw my health coaching certifications just out the window because I'm like, you know what? We need to try something new. And that's something new that changed everything. It helped me to lose 20 pounds in my 50s and keep it off. And as you hear this now, your brain might already be wondering, what is it like to finally be free? To finally trust yourself around food. So you might be wondering, okay, Holly, so what's the connection between FBI counterintelligence and weight loss? Well, at the FBI, we had to stay ahead of and actually neutralize the threats of spies and espionage. But in real life, those threats, it's cake day at the office. It's the dessert tray when we're out to dinner. It's family pizza night. A threat is a threat. So I took the skills that I learned in pattern analysis and threat analysis at the FBI, and I applied them to achieve my own weight loss, which has now turned into helping hundreds of women do the same. But here's the plot twist. It's not just about staying ahead of those daily threats. That permanent change, it comes when we can actually rewire our brain to make different decisions. And that's where the neuroplasticity comes into play. And here on Weight Loss Forensics, I'm going to share all of these tactics with you. This show, it dives deep into the psychology of weight loss, emotional eating triggers. It conducts behavioral profiles and forensics analysis on what got us here in the first place. And if you're one of those people who loves to know what makes you tick, if you're a little low-key obsessed with true crime podcasts or those CSI shows on TV, you are going to want to subscribe here on Weight Loss Forensics. If you've ever looked in the mirror and thought, you know what, I am just so tired of starting over. this show is built for you. In fact, go hit that subscriber button so you don't miss an episode. We do things a little differently around here. We actually do things a lot differently around here because you're not going to hear about calories or macros or sad little salads. You are going to get FBI counterintelligence inspired strategies, the real psychology behind why you self-sabotage around food, and behavioral profile tactics that work to not just lose weight, but to actually make this a part of your healthy lifestyle so you can keep it off for good. I mean, isn't that the real goal? I want you to picture that version of you who isn't ruled by the cravings, who doesn't start over every Monday, who has finally made peace with your body. And that's who we're unlocking here. Because it's time to be a little rebellious, to be a little contrarian, and to think about weight loss from a completely different perspective so that you can do this once and for all. You are in the right place, my friend. Let's go.